Okay. Here we go. Gran Turismo 1, 80%. I'm gonna start talking about once again the licenses. Okay. So, first off, this game was created by Polyphony Digital in 1997. I think December 23rd was its release date. So it'll be 20 this Christmas. It took like 4 years to produce. I think it started in 1994. Back when the PlayStation was going to be that Super Nintendo PlayStation. And they put a lot of work into the closest to a racing simulator for PS1. I'd say they did a pretty good job. It's the highest selling PlayStation 1 game of all time. It sold 10.97 million copies worldwide. I think the 97 a little here or there depending on what you read. And its predecessor, Gran Turismo 2, sold 9.4 or 10 million copies depending on where you read as well. These first two tests are just start and stop, so nothing to explain here. So you're pretty popular for the time. So 80% is just get to the credits. Credits is after the World Championship. And to get to the World Championship, I have to win the GT Cup, Clubbing Cup, and Sunday Cup. So those first three, and then I can enter the last one. But to do those races, I need a car. And to get a car, I need a license, because for 80%, I can get license prizes. And I'll be golding all of the IA license to get the Nismo 400R, which is a pretty great machine. I don't have to pay a dime for it. I just have to gold all of an entire license, which I'll be getting there in like 20 minutes. So those first two were start and stop, just simple, hold X and go, and then stop when I feel like I need to. I can't drift into it. That would be faster to stop by having the car go sideways, but Gran Turismo 1 likes to, if you're like at a weird angle and you just still hold the brakes, your car will like inch forward and it won't let you end the test. So these next three are Deep Forest, like sweepers, I guess. Kinda close to sweepers. Pretty simple. I do them with a front wheel drive, Del Sol. Then rear wheel drive, Sylvia, which would be up here. And then an all wheel drive 2000 GT like I did earlier. So these are pretty simple. I just have to get the rear end out and accelerate out. I do not use the G-Con for Gran Turismo 1 because the analog is, I guess, like broken? Maybe? Like not on the controller, but in the game. Any kind of input that the G-Con takes makes it swing really far that way. It's almost like instead of like a percentage input, it goes to a max input. I don't know why. The G-Con is it's a twist controller. Nijiro for twist, Con for controller, twist controller. Those were released in like '94 by Namco, and they're meant for Cyber Sled, the arcade game that Namco made. Is like a robot fighter game. But they're really good for racing games because you can twist as a steering wheel, and games like Gran Turismo 1 and 2 were made with the G-Con's use in mind, which is what those analog settings are in the menus. In the options menu, if you've ever seen those before. But for Gran Turismo 1, it's just not that good. Also, you're probably noticing I'm using automatic all the time. Manual for Gran Turismo 1 is also really slow. I don't get why. I lose time a lot. So these next two are high-speed ring tests. Simple S with a front-wheel drive and rear-wheel drive. Front-wheel drive first with FTO. I just decelerate a little bit into the corner, try to get the rear end out, and go around. Block turn. I don't know what you mean with power productions. I am the world record holder, so I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, nice mashing. This game's pretty good with mashing. You can mash two confirm buttons, which are X and circle. Square and triangle are both cancel. Some menus go pretty quick. They load kind of quick. So I'm not going to gold all of B because it's actually relevant and slower. Golding all of B awards the Dodge concept car, or Copperhead, depending on where you live. It doesn't sell for anything because you can't sell it, and it's not very good. And any all gold of a license, you have to go through a menu screen, which you'll see at IA. I'll point it out again. It's not a screen you can skip immediately, so it's slower to gold all of the license, because you can always gold a test by a lot and not gold it by very little bit. So the second or two lost, or even 3 seconds lost with that one screen, you can just nullify it by not golding a test. Alright, so this is the final test for B. It's the time trial of high speed ring with Miata. Miata is pretty slow, but the test is pretty simple. I'm not going to brake, I don't think I need to. This is a little preview of IA license. Put the accelerator bit to get through the corner. I hit the grass. Alright. Should be good to go. It's a pretty simple time trial. There's a lot of room for error in these time trials in GT1. The gold requirements are pretty spaced out. Like enough that like messing up one thing isn't gonna ruin the run. Which is pretty good. Solid enough. Let's be license done. And unlike later games, you don't get any cars for just completing a license. Only for all gold. Like Gran Turismo 4, you get a car for completing a license, all silvers in a license, and all golds in a license. Alright, so A is a little difficult, it's a little more advanced. Practical testing here. So here's a redo of the Deep Force test, but starting out further out with a car with more oversteer like the Supra. I can gold all of A. I mean, if I see it, I'll go for it. But all of A is extremely difficult. A lot of tests that aren't very long with no room for error. We'll try to drift really hard here. This gold here is 32.4. And nope. Going all of A, I can get the TRD 3000 GT, which is a tuner Supra. It sells for 12 grand, like all prize cars in this game do. 12 grand at the correct manufacturer, 10 grand at a not correct manufacturer. Okay, so autumn ring, simple enough. It's pretty much the same as the Deep Force test, except with a little bit of a tighter hairpin. Golding all of A is extremely difficult, so it's not marathon safe, so I'm not going to go for it. As opposed to IA, which is pretty safe at this point. I think that was 24/7 I missed. So this is more just advanced techniques on courses that you're going to see in the game. Because there's no dedicated license courses like in Gran Turismo 2. Or Gran Turismo 3 if you want to count complex steering. Where you do like slaloms and the hill tests and stuff like that. So this is RX-7 Granite Valley. This is just the first hairpin coming up. I'm going to try to swing the rear end way out and try to accelerate out, and that should be it. After licenses, I'll explain more about the game and whatnot. There's enough to explain with licenses. Gold here I think is 42.8. Probably not going to get it. Oh, I did get it. Cool. That one's deceptively tough. For a while, when I was a kid, I just never figured out how to do it. Until I figured out, oh, you can just, in Gran Turismo 1, you can throw cars into a drift and if you know how to play out of a drift, it won't spin out on you. So this is Child Mountain with our 33. This test appears in, I think, multiple Gran Turismos. It's one of the reoccurring ones. Very simple. It's through the mountain section in the tunnel at the end. So I'm trying to drift through this a little bit. Grass will slow me down, so I want to avoid that. Accelerate a bit through there, so I'll hit the wall. Accelerate a bit, so I'll hit the wall on this side. This one is 37 something? 37.4? Yeah, 37.4, so I missed it by a little bit. Just a bit. Alright, this one I'm actually going to use manual. Because the way the prelude and automatic works here, it likes to not downshift at the corner into the tunnel of Grand Valley. So this is the S into, I forgot how to shift. This is the S into the tunnel of Grand Valley. I thought it was in 4. I swear it's in 4, but hey, I haven't played that in a while. Go in the second. It's probably not going to be gold. This is extremely difficult to gold. Just like looking at it on paper. Yeah, I forgot to shift because I'm dumb. So, that's fine. That goal is a 30.2. Alright, so this is the MR2 in Deep Forest. This is pretty simple. This is through the tunnel section. I'm gonna try to not be risky here. I can be risky and hit the grass quite a bit. There's a little bit of leeway when failing for grass. Like if you have more than half your car's in the grass at one point, you fail. Or if you hit the wall too fast in your front half of your car, you fail. You're just going to abuse that quite a bit later on. Alright, so here's a test with a little discrepancy on the American version. This is the Advanced Techniques test. There's a little cutoff section in Grand Valley with the Impreza. But in the Japanese version, cars don't like swing as much. So I have to kind of play it slow. This, instead of being a gold by like 4 seconds, this is going to be probably not a gold. As shown by that, it's kind of hard to get around these U-turns with the car not being able to cooperate. Hope I don't fail it. I shouldn't fail it though. Just barely. I'm not using analog. I don't like analog for Gran Turismo 1. I'm using a standard D-pad controller. A lot more responsive. Alright, so this is the final test. This is the same section in Grand Valley like we saw earlier with the RX-7, but with the added really tight hairpin that's banked halfway through. This is probably the third most difficult test in the game, other than A1 and A5. Well, A5 if you don't use manual. I'm gonna do the same as usual. Drift into this. Nah, it's strictly the Japanese version. This is how the cars react. It's not an analog D-pad thing. So the cars like react differently in the Japanese version than the American version. This game is like pretty much different in the American version in a lot of ways. I think PAL would be the same. I think goal here is 105.6. Yeah, I missed it. That's fine. Yo, Brett, what's going on? Yeah, the handling is very different. If you play Gran Turismo 2 and you not play Gran Turismo 1, it's very not the same. It's a little arcade-ish because it's in its infancy, but still pretty well done. Alright, so here's all the time trials. Yeah, IA license. This is the one that matters. I have to gold all of these. I don't expect to fail any of these golds. But if there was one I'd expect to, it's this one right here. there's a lot of room for error in time trials. Like the golds really show that. But this is the one with the least because it's high speed ring. It's wide, it's fast, and the Griffith is not the easiest car to use, but I like it nonetheless. It all comes down to one corner right here. This one right here. I'll try to break a tiny bit and get through it. Okay, that should be good. And yes. The Griffith can be manhandled, so these tests aren't the hardest. You just gotta be careful. So I has this little pattern of every other test is a different car, back and forth. So it's Griffith 500 and the Viper GTS. The Viper's a lot easier to use than the Griffith. Griffith it's fine. It's just a little bit heavier on the rear end. So this is 103.99. There we go. So everything should be smooth sailing. So this is the Viper with Special Stage Route 5. I'm going to be abusing the, I guess, like wall bump and the wall physics and the collision detection. So Viper in this game is probably the best normal car. I'd probably say it is. Than the 400R. This thing is a beast, and it does not oversteer that much like in the Gran Turismo successors. Like 2, it's probably the worst. One of the worst cars to use because it's got a really high ride height and it drifts a lot. So I'm going to rear end up on the wall. I don't lose that much speed on the wall. I can accelerate right out. That's pretty fast. So like I mentioned earlier, fails happen on like the front half of the car. I hit the wall like 70 and it didn't fail me, so it's pretty simple. I'm not going to do it here because the guardrail's so far out. I'm just going to do this as intended. Try not to drift that much and accelerate out, and this should be good. Goal here is 126,350. I actually don't remember off the top of my head. I used to have them on a notepad, but I stopped memorizing them when I stopped failing them. So this car is very cooperative. I can deaccelerate into an inertia drift, I can brake into a brake drift, and it'll follow with me and bounce right back. And no tire spin. It's all good. Very solid. 124. Alright, next up, Griffith in Autumn Ring. This one's kind of tough, but the goal is a 120 something, so it's not. Oh, it's Grand Valley first. Oops. Autumn Ring is 5th. So, this one's actually kind of tough, because Grand Valley is a little annoying. We saw earlier with the A tests. So as long as I don't hit the wall, it should be good. I think gold's 157 or 158. I should see a 156.5 or something. That'll be pretty good. So not hitting any wall is going to give me a lot of leeway for the rest of the test. So be careful on this hairpin. Throw it, not accelerate, and accelerate out. The grass is alright. So as long as half my car isn't in the grass, it's all good. I'm drifting this. So if I don't hit the wall here, I think I'm good to go. I gotta be careful. Drift a bit, accelerate into it. Because the way that wall works over there, there's tires next to the tunnel, and it's at an angle, so if I hit the tires, my car is just gonna slide to the other side of the wall and be really obnoxious and lose me all the time. Or fail me if I go fast enough. Look at the pretty bridge. So Grand Valley is a Grand Valley is a track that is recurring in every Gran Turismo game. It's pretty great. There are rumors of it being based off a track in Germany. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it looks eerily close. But all the tracks in Gran Turismo 1 are original. The real tracks come in Gran Turismo 2. Like Laguna Seca, and the betas had Monaco and Indianapolis. Indianapolis was actually pretty much built, and Monaco was not. 156, pretty good. Alright, another one with the Viper. It's Straw Mountain? No, D4. Straw Mountain's one afterward. I mix them up. Alright, so Deep Forest, this is pretty much the simplest one. I could throw the Viper into these drifts so hard, and it'll be very good coming out of it. So the test earlier helps for that. No matter how much licenses may suck, and they may be really annoying, they help a lot. They're the best way to learn. Okay, that was really risky. I can't believe I didn't fail. So the Viper's a little out of control and that kind of stuff happens. So that was the wrong way to do that. But there's no curbs, so I kind of have to just be clean and hope everything's all good. Accelerating in that. Okay. So this corner coming up here after the straight is really sketchy. I'm going to try to slow down for it. It's downhill and fast and banked. So I try not to accelerate through there, or the Viper will slide into the grass and probably fail me. Accelerate in this, and out. I think this one's a 118 for gold. Simple enough. Alright, here's Autumn Ring with the Griffith. This is a 120.4 for gold. Or 120 something or other. I'll probably get a 118 if I play well enough. So Autumn Ring's a little awkward. A lot of awkward corners that you'd probably cut, but you can't because it's a license test. So first the hairpin that we saw earlier in the super test. Not to spin the tires too much so I can accelerate out. Then a little S section, which I gotta be careful not to cut too hard or I will fail. Look, there's curbs. And now we're into Autumn Ring mini. Little section over here. This tight hairpin and then the banked corner up ahead. I'm drifting in this. I wouldn't be able to do this kind of drifting in Gran Turismo 2 or later games, but Gran Turismo 1 is a very bouncy game. So it's not punishing. Now the ring section, I'm going to try to just drift kind of far into it and get to the curb as best I can. Kind of can't. Alright, and then S into the downhill part. In this little tight corner, I'm going to take this with a really long drift that didn't go that well, but it's alright. This is a very technical course. It's a lot of winding, a lot of tight corners. Alright, here's Trial Mountain with the Viper. Normally in later games I would do a wall ride in the hairpin, not like a hairpin. That's like a really high radius corner after the downhill section. But it's a license test, I don't want to risk anything. It's not faster because it's so far out, so it's only faster with cars that are super fast. So here's the test that we saw earlier with the R33. The tunnel in the mountain section. Drifted here. Try to hit the wall. I shouldn't have hit the curb there. Curbs are very bouncy as well. They can be very punishing. Especially in Trial Mountain where they're not flat necessarily. They're angled and stuff. So my tires will kind of ramp off of it like I jump. So I'm going to hit a big old drift here. And out. Alright. So a lot of this game here you see me doing drifts like that. A lot of inertia drifts. And towards the end, brake drifts. Because of how not punishing this game is. Another drift there. That's a sketchy drift because it's banked and there's a curve to the side that I might ramp off of. With license test, I'm not going to go through the grass, nor what I want to. Trying to fly in the air, and out. out. I think that was a 128 or a really high 127 for gold. Alright, Route 11 with the Griffith. This one's not that fun, but it's super easy to gold because I can wall ride quite a bit of wall bumps, I should say. But since this game isn't necessarily flat because it's 1997, there isn't perfect curves. There's a lot of polygons. So stuff is kind of just sharp. Wall rides kind of get sketchy like this one. So I kind of start bouncing off of it. It's not necessarily smooth, but that wall ride helps a lot. I didn't hit the wall hard enough that it would fail me. I think gold is like 206 or something. 206 or 204. It's something I've never hit before for silver. So I'll drift through here. It probably isn't faster, but I just didn't feel like wall riding. Might not wall ride here either. I'm gonna drift into it. Wall's a little far out. Alright, here's the scariest part in the entire game of any track. The chicane. See there? If anyone's ever played Gran Turismo 1, you know that you hit that chicane, it's over. The little median in the road. More drifting. Those little dirt patches on the curb I just passed, probably should mention that. There's one later that can fail me towards the end. That one could fail me, but I never go close enough. You never should. Alright, here's another wall bump. I go really wide in this. It wasn't that fast, but it's better than just taking the corner as intended. So I drift through the square section. Another one through this hairpin. There's also dirt there, but it can't fail me because it's not big enough. So on the left side of this S coming up here, there's a dirt patch that's just big enough to fail me because Griffith is so small. Right there. That one can take me out of the license test. And out. So a track like Special Stage Route 11 can be used quite a bit with the physics and the collision detection. Alright, lastly, Grand Valley Reverse with the Viper GTS. It's a shame all the tests aren't every track in the game because there's not that many past this. It's only Autumn Ring Mini and Test Course, but there's no real use to have the and Club and Stage Route 5 and Grand Valley East. There's not enough of a use to put those tracks as time trials. So might as well just take the hardest one and make it reverse with a different car. So I'm gonna drift into this. I could wall bump off of that, but I could be risking failure and I probably would be slower coming out of it. I stayed low in the sweeper right there. I'm gonna take a big old drift here and bounce off the wall. I feel like corner is a decreasing radius and it's kind of a it's increasing radius. Sorry, I'm kind of dumb. It's tighter, so it's kind of awkward to just drift through it. That was a bad drift. I should have made it a little tighter. A lot of knowing where your surroundings are for when you play this game with license tests, so that if you drift too wide and too fast, you won't fail. It's always good to take your time. There's always room for error in these tests. As shown earlier, I was golding them by a second and a half to 2 seconds. This one's a 156.3, I think. I'll take a drift through here. That wasn't the best, but it'll work. I think it's a 156. I don't actually remember what the thing is. So there's that screen. Well, this one right here. I'm mashing it. I can't get past it until it lets me. So that's why golding B doesn't matter. Okay, so now we get to see the 400R that I won. And some red. Okay, I'm gonna buy some parts. clutch flywheel drive shafts. So the Japanese version route is a little different than the American version, because American version you can outright buy race modification, and it would decrease the weight to the point that you would get the weight reductions than the race modification. Japanese version, you have to play as intended, which I don't know why it's not the other way around. You figure, like, oh, they'd fix it later. But, oversight. So I have to go out of my way and buy all the weight reductions. So buying parts is a little awkward. Not a lot of money in the run. So that's why I bought the clutch flywheel drive shaft as opposed to, like, Turbo 1 and muffler for the 10 grand. There just isn't any room to buy the Turbo 1. So I'm using the 400R here, as opposed to the route I had for around a year and a half. Because the 400R is faster at the end game. It's so fast that it blows the chaser out of the water, even in Sunday Cup and Club and Cup, when it gets later on. And most of the time save is in the GT Cup, where normally the 400R would be in the GT Cup to get the chaser, but it's really slow and it's kind of hard to win. I'd be in the GT Cup with almost a 42 in the 400R. Really interesting. Alright, so now that's out of the way. So into the real game of racing. No restrictions, just gotta play it out. So I'm on the Japanese version because it loads a lot quicker than the American version in menus and just standard load times. It's actually a lot faster. It's around a minute or so. I only found this out like a month ago, because I was like, I haven't done a run in Japanese version, and it caught me off guard. Like, why am I getting a sub 30 license? So it's not bad. It's just I have to deal with the certain camera angle missing. If anyone noticed, I'm in the bar chase camera as opposed to the bumper chase camera, because that camera view does not exist in this version. That's how old this game is. You only get the front bumper or far chase. So Sunday Cup's pretty simple. It's 3 races of 2 laps apiece in 3 simple tracks: Autumn Ring Mini, High Speed Ring, and Grand Valley East. Competition is just simple C-Class cars. It's Civics and Mirages, and occasionally there's an MR2, G Limited in there, like Star Glanza and all that. And all the races in this game are championships, other than the 3 endurances, All Night Long, Forward and Reverse, and Grand Valley 300 kilometers, which is the endurance that is in every Gran Turismo game that has endurance races. I'm on duties in sequential order: Sunday, Club, and GT, and Worlds, because the money works out pretty well in those aspects, and the time saved with getting the parts by the time I get to these championships. I don't qualify either. You can skip them, it just saves time. And the money, nowhere near worth it. I think it's like $1,000 or 1.5 grand per qualification for Sunday Cup. It gets a little bit more as you go on, but it's never worth it. So like this Sunday Cup and Club and Cup are blowouts pretty much. It's simple enough. No skips, nothing like that. Told you guys I ran out of stuff to talk about. But it's all good. Give me a little break. Alright, so the credits look a little weird. The money in this game. It's multiplied by 100 in every Gran Turismo game for the Japanese version. Just like make a pseudo conversion to yen. Everything's still the same, it's just multiplied by 100. Like for example, used car cycles and used car lots, all the cars have values of what they are in other versions of American PAL. And that whole table would go through a multiplier of 100. So the whole game would as well. It's pretty interesting. But it does look really weird if you've never seen the Japanese version before of any Gran Turismo game. Also, the soundtrack's different. A lot of original stuff as opposed to American version with a lot of alternative. Which is fine. I like the soundtrack from Gran Turismo 1. It's very good. A lot of just Japanese rock, like stuff you'd imagine when you're racing in Japan in the mid to late 90s. Nice drift there. I just wanted to mow the lawn, sorry. Alright, so that's a little bit of an issue. Grand Valley's a little awkward. I'm actually glad that happened, so I can explain how braking works. When you're braking on like an elevation change with some certain cars, sometimes it won't brake as well as it should. I guess you'd kind of like imagine that would be for real life, but I was hitting the brakes and nothing was happening, so that's a little awkward. I'm glad I recovered it really nicely. Drift right through the sand. This is more of Gran Turismo 1 being bouncy as a game engine. It's a little out of control. Like once cars get fully tuned, it's really out of control. That was fine. Get some extra money. There's the prize bonus. Congratulations. Get the new machine. I will get the new machine. So from Sunday Cup, win awards me a DMIO A-Spec, which I'm going to sell for 12 grand. Actually, lightest car in the game. I sell the Mazda for the most amount of money. Get back into 400R and buy some parts. I'll explain the parts after I buy them. No, not that one. That one. Sports brakes, not the brake controller. Muffler. This menus go pretty quick. You ever seen Gran Turismo 2? They're pretty sluggish. Intercooler. This game's very quick. No, not race modification. And let's go to Club Cup. Okay. So I bought the muffler, sports brakes, intercooler, soft racing tires, and weight reduction 1 and 2. The brakes are very useful. You wouldn't think they would be, because they're brakes. They don't really do that much, but as you saw earlier, the brakes are not the best stock. So now with better brakes, I can take corners more risky. I can brake into them later, and it all works out. The muffler's pretty good. Intercooler helps with the turbo. And weight reduction is for the race modification I'll get later, but it also helps because it increases the power to weight ratio, which is how you can tell a car is very powerful or not. But like I mentioned, the bounciness earlier. You can tell with I'm already bouncing around with the weight reduction. When cars get lighter, they tend to bounce around no matter how heavy the car is. So it's racing soft tires. Racing soft tires is probably the best part in the game, as opposed, well, not really. Well, race modification maybe, but for the price, 15 grand for racing soft tires. There's no tire wear in anything but endurance races, but it's super helpful. Like they're already warmed up immediately. They can play other games. You wouldn't want to buy the super soft tires. The most performance is what you want. Most traction, most grip. They're really good. I can take corners extremely risky and just start throwing the 400R through them. But there is tire wear in endurance races. But Gran Turismo 1 and Gran Turismo 2, tire wear is a little broken, as in all the tires wear the same. So you can take soft tires in endurance and have the same results as hard tires, but the hard tires will be worse because your car will be worse. And so much so at that point, there are cars in Gran Turismo 1 that just don't have much tire wear at all. For example, the TVR Cerebra Limited Edition. I've taken that in Grand Valley for over an hour without any tire wear. I don't understand why that is. I've never seen that in Gran Turismo 2. So it probably just for this game. Really awkward. Other than that, it's just grab soft tires. You should always grab them. The route used to have racing hard tires as a starting point for the 400R for the 10 grand. But no need to worry about that now. The Columbia Cup is same as Sunday Cup, 3 races, 2 laps apiece. But now we got B-class cars to play against. Like MR2, GTS, Impreza, Integra, TO. Meant to press right. Sylvia, Civics. And the Legacy appears. You know, simple cars. Simple cars are not difficult to beat. More introduction to the game. And some short courses. So Autumn Ring, Clubman, Route 5, and I want to say Trial Mountain? Oh, I should remember. It's been a while. I know Trial Mountain ends GT Cup, for sure. The good thing about the run is that you get to see all the tracks. It's not that many, but you get to see them all. In the 4 in GTF, the Gran Turismo Federation, the Sunday Club and GT World, there's no reverse tracks, so you just all of them forward, except for Test Course, because Test Course only appears in Mega Speed. So you can see all the tracks as they are, which is pretty cool. I suppose the Gran Turismo 2, where each of the runs you only see maybe half the tracks. Get more wall bump abuse there. It's not as well done with rear-wheel drives, because I like to stick to the wall. But fine nonetheless. I was Trial Mountain, I was right. For some reason I thought it was some kind of short course, because Cup's pretty quick. bounciness. We'll try to avoid every curb from here on out. Cars can't flip over, but bouncing is not optimal. You're barely on the track. It'll get out of control and whatnot. Flipping over was in 5 and later, so 5 and 6, if you're able to flip cars. I'm not gonna go for the wall ride because wall ride with grass in Gran Turismo 1 isn't always the best. The car will take more of the grass than the wall. I'll get slower than just doing a drift. So that was awkward. That was like an elevation change. I tried to drift the other way and it wouldn't let me. The car decided it wanted to go the other way. So my car is pretty much fully tuned. The Intrial Mountain is probably the most awkward course. Elevation changes, big curves, and whatnot. Nice, nice. Little thing with this camera angle, my depth perception gets a little affected. Because I've been playing the Gran Turismo series since '98, and I've always played it in the camera angle that I mentioned earlier does not exist in this version. So I have to kind of get out of my head that the car is further away. Because it really isn't. The camera's still on the track. It's at the same angle as it would be with the other camera angles. It sticks to the track as opposed to the car. But that right there was kind of a little awkward. I didn't know where my car was going to react to. And it was downhill, so kind of hard to see as well. Whee! Alright, on to GT Cup. As soon as I sell the Camaro 30th anniversary. Big bonus. There's no used car lot for the foreign manufacturers. Okay. Okay, I was just making sure my route was correct. Not sure why my money is a little off. It's not wrong, it's just I have a little more money left over. I bought Turbo 2, weight reduction 3, and the computer chip. The computer chip just because I had the money left over. Weight reduction 3 is gonna help a lot. Doesn't reduce the weight by that much, but it's enough that it's pretty good. And Turbo 2 instead of Turbo 3 because the money's just not there. But Turbo 2 does the job just fine. So this is the big time save over the previous route, which was get the 400R, do GT Cup, and then use a chaser for the rest of the game. Being faster overall in the entirety of GT Cup. It's pretty good. So now, as opposed to back in the day, struggling to win most of these races, I can just blow through these. But now this car is a little awkward. It's a lot lighter, it's a lot more powerful, a lot more out of control. The GT Cup is 4 races, 3 laps apiece, with A-class cars, and Worlds will have S-class cars. There's no S-class in like arcade mode, that's kind of what I go off of. But that's race cars, this is sports cars, and then previous two were the B and C. And I'm all over the place today. The 400R gets like really loose when it gets tuned up, like very loose. With all the rate reductions, it sheds like 500 pounds, I want to say. It ends at, I think, 2,900. There's a lot more than you expect if you're coming from like Gran Turismo 2, where weight reduction and race modification doesn't decrease that much weight. Maybe a couple 100 pounds. But most of the parts in Gran Turismo 1 are amplified, more or less. Like, you can tell every part on the car that you buy makes it that much better. Pretty cool. Which is why the brakes help a lot, and the clutch, and the muffler, and the flywheel, and the drive shaft and whatnot. Like, the littlest parts help immensely. So this thing turns into a car that's better than a race car at the end. But there are race cars that are better than this. There's only the Dodge Council car, the one with 1,400 pounds. It's very, very light. It's an incredible power to weight ratio. It's one from UK versus US. The 5 race 3 laps apiece. You have to use a car from either Britain or America. And it's a coin flip if you get it. I forgot what the other car is. I think it's the RX-7 LM or something. And then the TBR Cerebra LM, which is extremely light. Picks corners like a beast. That's from UK versus Japan, I believe. But only those two are better than, for example, fully tuned 400R. Yeah, more of this game can't handle that little uphill section of Grand Valley. Like I mentioned earlier, that the game's not flat. It's more polygons and like you imagine a sidewalk. One part of the sidewalk's higher than the other. That's kind of what that first on the straightaway is. So I end up getting air from going so fast if I don't brake early enough. Yeah, it's GT Cup and Worlds is the big time saves. Because the Chaser is so bad. It's a real shame that the easiest car to win is the worst. I mean, I understand if that's what Polyphony was going for, but the Chaser LM is very bad. It handles like a boat. It's very slow. It's rear-wheel drive. It's heavy. It doesn't go around corners very well. You can't really wall ride with it. But it's free, and it's easy to get. I lost like 3 seconds with that mistake. Even the AI kind of has an issue with it. Alright, D4 is up next. This one I probably should be careful. I can't really spin out, but I'll do some extreme drifts and just maybe fly away or something. I'll try to take it a little steady. Kinda like that. That's fine. Nice, nice. Look at that bounce. So, not much to say about championships. Nothing that's glaringly obvious, needs to be pointed out. Fortunately, for as long as I've played racing games, especially Gran Turismo 1, championships are autopilot for the most part, because the AI is not very good. You kind of just get ahead of them and they figure out how to race, pretty much. Even though their cars are tuned up, they just don't have the tires. That's one aspect of Gran Turismo 1 I like, as opposed to 2 and I think 3. Those games, the AI is based on... They have a table of cars they can have the opponents be chose from. And they get put into from that table through a power multiplier, depending on what event they're in. But that's not giving them the parts, so their tires will be pretty bad, so their handling will automatically be poor. Opposed to Gran Turismo 1, they are tuned up, and you can see the horsepower be the same as if you were tuning the same thing. For example, if you max out an 8086 Torino and go into FR Challenge, you can see in the lineup that if a Torino appears, it have the same horsepower and weight as yours if it's fully tuned, well, other than race modification. That's pretty interesting. You never see that ever again. You never see the grids come back like that in any game in the series, because it'd be power multiplied and it'd be all different. Like, you can look at a car, you'd be driving the same thing, and so why is this not the same? Nor does it make the AI just better overall, because you turn on autopilot, there are cheats for that, like Game Shark and whatnot. And you can see how the AI drives, and it's not very well. It's very safe. Kind of like at the end of before the replay of a race. Alright, more Route 5 stuff. More me bouncing off walls. I'll take this wall bump. Might as well. That corner is kind of tough to get into. It's the exact same situation as the Grand Valley first hairpin because of the elevation change and the bump in the road. But the 400R being so loose, winding courses like Route 5, Route 11, more like city courses, they're pretty difficult to go along. Just like the traction with this thing. It's kind of just hope I can wall ride enough to get through it, which is fine. If the collision lets me do it, then I'll do it. Yeah, see, there you go. That's what happens when you brake. Pretty much in the air. Since you're not, you know, on the ground, you can't get any traction to brake. I'm glad I didn't spin out. That's kind of cool. A very comical drift. Something like that I would have loved to just bounce off the wall as opposed to try to break into it. I had to brake super early for it, and that's slow. We don't like slow. I want to go fast. Try it one more time. Let's see. There we go. A little sketchy, but didn't go to the guardrail. Didn't spin out. None of that. My car kind of bucked there. Decided didn't want to be on the ground anymore. Alright, on to Trial Mountain. So last race of GT Cup. So I can get the Chaser LM and throw it away. We can move on to the World Championship. I couldn't actually get wide there. That's kind of annoying. It's hard to recover when you're airborne. That's, you know, take it as real life. It'd be the same thing. There's a lot of aspects of the physics engine for Gran Turismo 1 that are very close to real life. There are a lot of racing games at this time that were close to simulators, like anything, not like anything in Need for Speed series. Maybe there's a couple PC ones, I don't know. But this was closest for the console, for any home console at the time. Just needed a little bit of work, and that gets improved later and later and later. And 20 years later, almost 20 years later, got GT Sport, and maybe it'll be the best simulator, who knows. But for the time, the game was incredible. I still think it's really fun, really good. I wouldn't be playing it as long as I have if I didn't think that way. tried really hard to turn there and it wouldn't give me anything. That's kind of cool. That was my mistake. I should have slowed down a little more. This game isn't relentless. It's pretty solid. Not too punishing. But playing poorly, I will get punished. Nice jump. I really needed that. More awkward curves. Okay, so now that GT Cup's finished, I can get the chaser and race modification. I might have some money left over. I probably could buy displacement. I might as well. I don't know why there's money left over. No, I need to get the chaser. Feels like I missed something. Alright, so bad thing about this game. Even race cars only sell for 12 grand. It's a little awkward. Oh, I don't have the money left over. Okay, that's fine. I want yellow. Alright. So a good thing about race modification other than just being a lighter overall. You can change the downforce of any given car with it equipped. So max out the downforce. Now I'll be closer to the ground. And with the higher downforce, there'd be a suction effect created beneath the car and track. So I'll just stick to the track a little more. Which is the sole reason why this is worth it. This 400R is a beast, even though I only have Turbo 2 attached. Alright, so World Championship is 6 races, 3 laps apiece. And the AI is split into 2 groups. Turbo 1 is 5 grand. 5 or 6. So the 2 classes in Worlds are the not so fast race modified cars and the fast race cars and race modified cars. There's only 2 race modified cars in the class, faster ones, and 2 are Mernier. Those 2 are the 2000 GT race modified, which was a green Puma looking car. They tried to pass me earlier. And the R32 GTR D-Spec race modified. Those are 2 actually really incredible cars. I think the R32 has the best power to weight ratio in the game and it's tuned up. 2000 GT, it may weigh way too much, but it's still incredibly fast. And the race cars are most of the cars that cost 500 grand. The NSX R GT LM. Turbo 1. No, I tried it. It's not worth it. Being Turbo 1 before that, it's a waste of money. The transmission is much better off. I've already tried it. So it's the Casual Super GT, the NSXR, the I don't know what it's called, Nissan GTR, like the GTR Nismo road car, race modified. That's a special. the Impreza rally car. Impreza rally car is actually really good. Not here because its top speed's so bad. It's like 150, no, 175 or 185. So pretty much the cars that if you're having difficulty with this, you don't want to see the 3000 GT, the R32, and the Casual Super GT. And the lower classes, a bunch of irrelevant cars like the Civic 3-door, Mazda 323F, Honda Accord, Corona Exif, 200 GT, Celica GT4, Lancer Evo 4, and Primera. I think those are the race modified cars. So realistically, you can get a whole group of bad cars and go into worlds with something that's completely terrible and blow it away. As opposed to World Championships in successors, where they're more like prototypes and very fast LM cars. Kind of stuck with this. Still want to avoid the curbs because now I'm super light. So we'll go flying. This is kind of just World City end, so good thing I ran out of stuff to talk about. Am I right? There's a bunch of racing for the next 20 minutes. Nice bounce. I'm actually going to show something off after this run. I'll keep it in the commentary. It's something interesting. Oh, I was hoping I'd actually get a jump off that. It's not really faster, but it looks cool. Much rather do a self-imposed jump than one that's just the track's fault for the circumstances. Ooh, nice bounce there. Didn't see that coming at all. Alright, cool. Alright, 4 races to go. I'm actually surprised Grand Valley is this early in Worlds. I figure, or anyone would figure, it should be either last or close to last. But it's not. But this is a track that I probably like the least with the 400R because it's so wild. You saw earlier, the 2 times I did the Grand Valleys, I did a super bad drift when I tried to break into that first corner. The downforce helps a little bit, but if I go too fast, this gets out of control. I got the 400R from Golding all of IA. No, the 400R is the best thing to use. I've tried everything I can think of. This is the best solution. Nice bounce. I half did that on purpose. I wanted to slow down, but I didn't want to brake. Surprised I didn't go flying. What's wrong, kid? Nice wall ride. That was really hard to control. go. Nope, don't want to exit. So not really much to say about the rest of the game. Just beating World Championship. Because most of the game is just licenses. The rest of it's kind of autopilot. Kind of just doing a bunch of time trials. Because with the right car and the right amount of ability, the AI is not gonna do any good, so. Gotta play my best and get to the end. But hey, at least you guys get to listen to the good soundtrack. Nice turn there. Optimal. Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, this thing being tuned up is pretty hard to control. It's very loose, very bouncy. Alright, 2 to go. There's Deep Forest and Special Stage R11. That Supra's like out of control. All over the place. The last corner is very difficult. This thing all tuned up. Nice, right into the mountain. Not mean to do that. Nice. Nice over there. One last to go. Just Route 11. We'll do a lot of wall riding here, a lot of wall bumping. If I can even get past the Supra. This game uses a run, was subjective. If you know how to do licenses, and yes. The rest of the game is pretty simple. I don't know if I wouldn't know if I could say it's faster or not. Depends on the ability of the player. How much motivation they can have to want to run it. For me it is easy because I've played this game for ages. But for someone new, who's never played a sim before, they can come in and be like, oh, these licenses are really difficult, I don't know how to play. Or these controls are weird, I don't know what to do. But that's any speed game, really. Lots and lots of wall abuse. Like I mentioned earlier, this car can't really take winding corners very well, so it's gotta bounce off stuff. Alright, and we're out. Not the best run, but good demonstration. So that's Gran Turismo 1. World Championship complete. And the credits. So World Championship, I unlocked the credits. And GT Hi-Fi mode, which is 60 frames per second. In Club and Stage Route 5, Special Stage Route 5, and Special Stage Route 11. I'm not going to show off on stream because I don't have a 60 FPS capture card, so you won't be able to see it. That's the game. I'll mute for the credits.
Suddenly I never felt so alone. Deafening silence all around me now, since you're not here anymore. A second chance in my life is all I dream about. Another chance to believe too late and took so very long. Yeah. Never wish to cause you any harm. Wonder how it all went wrong. Yeah. Destined for each other from the start. Your spirit sings, never leaves. A second chance in my life is all I dream about. Another chance to believe in all I long for. Face to face, here we stand, knowing this can be the very end. So tell me we can try again. A second chance in my life is all I dream about. Another chance to believe in all I long for. Face to face, here we stand, knowing this just can't be the very end. So tell me we can try again. A second chance in my life is all I dream about. Another chance to believe in all I long for. Face to face, here we stand, knowing this just can't be the very end. So tell me we can try again.
Alright, one more thing I want to show off. Keeping the commentary because it's actually pretty interesting. I'm going to show off a little glitch that's been known about for a long time. I'm just going to call it the wall ride glitch. If you've ever seen any tasks of this game, it shows off. Only for like a minute. I'll go to like a time trial or something. Oh. Other test scores. It's gonna be hard to pull off. Because this thing's tuned up. So I expect to not get this to work, honestly. So I'll do it like once. And that'll be it. See, I gotta stay in first, I have to have the all-wheel drive, I have to be perpendicular at the wall, and go the other direction with the other tires. I can break the speed barrier, which is like 1,300 kilometers per hour. It's not easy because it's the way the cars react, but this is how you know it works when the car goes sideways like that. I gotta slow down, I gotta get back to my bearings. Kind of like, not even on the ground. Alright, so yeah, there you go. There's the glitch. This turbo lags and makes this take forever, so there you go. That's Gran Turismo 1, 80%.